All right, the $0 day one promise. Let me guess. Some rep showed up at your truck, told you you'd save money on processing, maybe even said zero cost or no fees at all, and you signed up. Cool, right? Well, 3 months later, you get your statement and it looks like a ransom note. Today, I'm going to break down the number one way food trucks bleed cash without even realizing it through surcharge and cash discount program. Now, surcharge and cash discounting is not illegal, and I want to make that clear because sometimes people hear out there that this is illegal, but it's not. But a lot of times these programs are set up entirely wrong, and they're not a scam, but they're just built to confuse you, the owner. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to check on your own account today so that you know how to recognize this. All right, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Payments by Duncan, and let's get into it. Okay, we're going to break down surcharge versus cash discount. Now, these are not the same. First question, first quick definitions, because every processor uses these words differently, but on purpose. Now, the surcharge program, you actually add a fee, usually 3 to 4% on top of the price when someone pays with a credit card, cash, and debit with no fee. Now, the cash discount program technically is the opposite framing. Your menu price already includes the fee, and cash payers get a discount off that price. Now, it's the same math, but a different label. End result is basically the same dollar amount either way. That's not the problem here. The problem is how it gets set up and disclosed. And that's where the truck gets hurt. And let's not forget, there are real rules when it comes to cash discounting and surcharging. Visa and MasterCard generally have to cap surcharges at around 3%, and cash discount programs have to have signage and receipt disclosure requirements, and a few states straight up restrict surcharging. So if your processor didn't walk you through any of this when you got signed up, that's red flag number one. So, mistake number one is overcharging the surcharge. Now, here's where it gets a bit sneaky. Card processing actually costs somewhere around 2 to 2.5% on average for a typical truck transaction. But a lot of these zero cost programs charge customers a flat 3.5 to 4% surcharge across. So, who really pockets the difference? Not you, the processor does. You're not actually saving money. You become the delivery vehicle for your processor to overcharge your own customers. And your customers start associating the markup with your truck, not the processor they've never heard of. Now, I've sat down with truck owners who had no idea their surcharge was even active because the red flipped it on during the setup and never explained it. Customers complained about hidden fees, owners had no answer, and trust took the hit, not the processing. Mistake number two is the zero cost isn't actually zero. This is a big one. Zero cost processing sounds amazing on a sales call. Here's what they don't lead with. If your account isn't properly PCI validated, which reps really never walk you through, there's a recurring fee every month, sometimes disguised as a regulatory or compliance line item. Now, really, that fee tends to be about between $15 to $30 a month. And then there's fees that they call batch fees or gateway fees. Then these are basically statement fees, gateway access fees, sometimes an early termination fee buried in a contract you signed on an iPad in under 30 seconds. Now, none of that shows up when they say zero cost because technically the swipe itself might be zero cost to you. Everything around it, not so much. So check your statement for PCI or non-compliance fee. Pull up your latest statement right now, pause the video if you have to, and look for anything labeled PCI non-compliance, batch, or regulatory. If you see one of those and nobody ever explained it to you, You found leak number 2. Now, mistake number 3 is a missing disclosure equals liability. This last one, and this one can actually come back to bite you, not just your wallet. So, card networks require posted signage at the point of sale and a line on the receipt showing the surcharge or discount amount separately. If your setup doesn't do that automatically, you are out of compliance, not your processor. You're the one who gets fined for that, not them. So that means a customer complaint, a chargeback dispute, or a network audit lands on your truck with your business name attached. The processor that set it up wrong just moves on to the next sign up. So ask, is the auto disclosed on every single receipt? This is a 30-second question to ask to whoever processes your payments. And if they can't answer clearly, that's your answer number 3. So 3 things to check out this week. So here's your action list for this week. Doesn't matter who you process with, do this regardless. Action number 1, pull up your statement. Pull your last full statement, not the app summary, the full statement, the actual PDF, and look line by line. Number 2, calculate your real effective rate. Add up every fee for the month, divide by the total card volume. That's how you calculate it. That's your real effective rate. If it's north of 3%, somebody's eating margin that really should be yours or staying in your customer's pocket. And number 3, confirm receipt disclosure is automatic. So confirm the surcharge or discount type shows up automatically and correctly on every printed and digital receipt, no manual steps. So taking these 10 minutes could save you thousands a year. That's it, just 10 minutes, and you'll know more about your own processing setup than most reps will ever tell you voluntarily. So if you want a statement fee review and you want a second pair of eyes on your statement, drop a comment or like, and hit the link in the description, and I'll personally look at it and tell you exactly what's fair, what's not, and what's just confusing on purpose. So like, subscribe, and because every week I'm going to be breaking down a different way food trucks lose money without realizing it. Fees, equipment leases, contracts, all of it. You built this truck to make money, not to hand it to a processor no one explained to you about. I'll see you in the next one.